goes down. You and me, we're gonna be legendary. Oh, wait and see, we're gonna be legendary. Ain't no time like the here and now. Yeah, we showed up, now we showing out. Oh, you and me, we're gonna be legendary. Legendary. We're gonna be legendary. We don't back down, this is what we're made of. Standing our ground, here it goes down. Oh, you and me, we're gonna be legendary. Oh, wait and see, we're gonna be legendary. Ain't no time like the here and now. Yeah, we showed up, now we showing out. Oh, you and me, we're gonna be legendary. Legendary. We're gonna be legendary. Legendary. We're gonna be legendary.
I got metal running through my bones, a resurrection like a ghost. Hurricane, go ahead and blow. Where you could keep your white flag, I'll never fold. A shadow on the battlefield, a survivor never yield. A thunder, go ahead and shake. Don't run from the storm when I feel the rain. There's no rest for the wicked, no victory for the weak. And when the weeds getting thicker, you'll never see me on my knees. You can't control this, it's explosive. You can't control this, it's explosive. You can't control this, it's explosive. I got a fever in my blood, a falling embers from above. I feel the heat when the pressure blows, a wildfire that you can't control. There's no rest for the wicked, no victory for the weak. And when the weeds getting thicker, you'll never see me on my knees. You can't control this, it's explosive. You can't control this, it's explosive. You can't control this, it's explosive. With every beat of my heart, I'll be the light in the dark. You can't control this, I'm explosive. You can't control this, it's 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 explosive.
We're a racing family that you can trust on and off the track. So if you're looking for foundation repair, go online or give us a call to schedule your free inspection. If we fix your foundation and you mention Race On Texas, you will get a 1-year free subscription to the All Access Pass.
Our family started RVing a few years ago, and when I think about all those campfires and fishing trips and sporting events, these are memories that are going to last a lifetime. I want to help others do the same thing. Hi, I'm Kevin Smith, General Manager at the all-new Click It RV in Milton Freewater. People in this community are very familiar with this location and the great service they've always received. So the biggest question we get is, where is Keith? The great news is, Keith is still here.
I've seen a lot of changes. I've seen a lot of things come and go. Through all the changes that we have seen, one thing that has not changed for us is the quality of our service.
Buying an RV is a big purchase, but it should be a fun and happy experience. So whether it be in sales or service or parts, our mission is simple: be the best. From our team here at Click It RV in Milton Freewater, we invite you to come down and experience the difference.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series in officially licensed cars engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to the FTSR Sim Racing Points Truck Series, live from the Paperclip down in Martinsville, Virginia here, where we go short track racing for the second week in a row here for the FTSR division. Good evening, everybody. Jason Rockfell alongside Wesley Outland up here in the booth tonight with you, and Charles Wooten, the man pressing the buttons as always, who we'll bring in from time to time if we can. And before this broadcast does get started, just wanted to say I have a very, very bad storm here up on the East Coast in New Jersey. So if I do go off the air, I'll leave it to the boys to obviously call the rest of this race. But hopefully it doesn't happen. Had the power go out momentarily. I'm back. I'm ready. Better than ever. Wesley, we're getting ready for some short track racing, man. We had some great racing last week. Both with obviously the Truck Series, and then they just got done racing at Richmond for the Cup Series on Monday night. I know Martinsville is a place that me and you both really enjoy. I've had the opportunity to go here myself in person. This is just such a great racetrack if you're a fan.
Yeah, gotta love the Paperclip here at Martinsville Speedway, the half mile of mayhem, as they call it, so many nicknames. And man, thank you so much to LSRTV and the Full Throttle Sim Racing Truck Series to invite me back here in the booth with you guys again. I know there's been a couple of times recently where I've had the invitation to come join you. I know I filled in with you about a month ago for an event, and they really enjoyed it. And man, we're gonna have fun at Martinsville, the Big M, and we're racing on concrete, little concrete, more concrete than pavement. Obviously, as we see Robert Miller here, we'll watch and see what these guys can do here for the race.
Yeah, and obviously this track is consisted not only of just concrete, but a little bit of asphalt down these straightaways, and then you'll hit that concrete strip going into 1 and 2, and then 3 and 4, which provides a lot of grip. I know that at Dover and Nashville Super Speedway, those tracks are completely concrete, so those things have a ton of grip, but man, when you transition from asphalt to concrete here, it can really mess things up. You see a lot of guys usually, Wesley, whether it be qualifying, practice, or even the race, lots of guys we've seen in the past, especially in trucks, both in the real and sim racing world. You can wheel hop a lot going into this corner, especially on the hard braking zone, and you can go around, run to the back of somebody. There's just carnage, and you said it, you know, that M, big mayhem.
Yeah, for sure, man. It's right now we watch John Rhodes working around the racetrack of that number 88 machine. Understanding Jason Rockefeller is dealing with weather issues in New Jersey. I think we've got him back with us. You know, I think you're dealing with some of the nasty weather we had in the Carolinas overnight this morning and this afternoon. And man, our thoughts and prayers are with a lot of people up in the Midwest and the Mid-Ohio Valley that are definitely getting hit by some severe weather, especially tornadoes. I had a lot of buddies of mine that I was checking in up in the Mid-OV area that, man, they had tornadoes overnight and some nasty weather. And you be safe, Jason. You be safe over there in New Jersey.
Yeah, we're trying to. Just had a little bit of a flicker, a little hiccup there. So we'll see if it stabilizes. For the time being, it is at the moment. I'm hoping that I can get the full distance in with this race. Qualifying starting to come to a conclusion here pretty soon. But like I was saying, Wesley, you talk about this race with mayhem and whatnot. We see a lot of guys with the transition going down from the asphalt down into the concrete. A lot of wheel hopping going on. We've seen a lot in the past. Lots of guys have trouble going into these corners.
And this is just one of those racetracks where you might have to be aggressive, but you may not want to be too aggressive. You've got to pace yourself. You've got to find the right place, the right time to really get around this racetrack. It's short track racing. You know what? There's going to be some hurt, Jason, there will be some hurt feelings, but there's going to be some bumping. There's going to be some banging. But listen, that's the territory we're at tonight with the short track racing world.
Yeah, it's always like that when you come to these short tracks, for sure, no doubt about it. We saw it 1 week ago here for the Truck Series at Richmond, and we still stay in the state of Virginia. And I know they say Virginia's for lovers, like I mentioned on Monday, but tonight it is for racers, just like it was last Wednesday, just like it was, obviously, on Monday for the Cup Series here. And it definitely should be a fun one. Caution-filled race last year for sure, but a lot of great action. Richie Coy not in attendance tonight. Remember, he will not be back until Darlington. He is running a karting league on Wednesday night, so he'll try to compete for the tail end of the season here for 2024A. So he will not be a defending race winner here tonight. He'll give the opportunity to somebody else. Swept both Martinsville races last year, leading over 200 laps, which is very impressive around this place considering how hard it is to drive. And it's really a racetrack, Wesley, not only in NASCAR, but also in the short track world, the NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour, super late models, anywhere, any kind of car that comes here. This is a place that you want to win at, but it's super hard to drive, and it can really push your buttons quickly.
Yeah, you're exactly right. As right now we see Cody McKinney qualifying to the Slim Jim Menards Toyota. Pardon the pun, I had some Slim Jim for a little snacky snack this afternoon. So I guess I got Slim Jim on the brain, Jason.
Slim Jim indeed, and I love those colors. Throwing it back to Matt Kraftner. Really, you could say anything, or anybody who has run the Menard schemes. But with that being said, qualifying has just wrapped up. We're getting ready to set the grid here for tonight's Martinsville 200 laps here around the paperclip. Let's get it started. Here we go. Row number 1. Starting on the pole, TJ Bartell alongside James Mullins in the number 60 machine. Row number 2, you'll find Ryan Chapman, Robert Belikian, who's trying his hardest to break through and get a win tonight. Finished third last week. We'll see what he can do tonight. Row number 3, you'll find Cody McKinney, Marshall Johnson in the number 9 machine. Row 4, on the outside, you'll find Lewis Meglin, Brian Bliss on the inside of the number 3 machine. And rounding out the top 10, row number 5, Joey McKinney, Kyle Milliken in the 42.
Starting 11th, Michael Blackner in the car number 22 to his outside in 12th, the 35 of Ben Tracy. Row 7 here in Martinsville, Chris Custer in the 66. Jake Oyer will be on the 92 outside. Row 8 will be Tony Solari in the number 11. John Rhodes in the number 88. Row 9, Wayne Grosty in the 7. Nick Gobble in the number 1. Your top 20 will find James Torrey and J.P. Burns, row 10. And row 11 will find Rick Webb as well as Sherwood Williford in the 54 and the 33. Row 12 will find Alan Duranco in the Deuce, Brody Hanna in the 23, and that's it. 24 drivers. Row 13 is the Ghost field. And hey, Jason, we are under the lights though, man, from dusk till nightfall for 200 laps around Martinsville.
Yeah, this is going to be a really fun race for sure, Wesley. If we do have it real quick, let's take a look here at the Hunt the Front TV race analysis for tonight's event here at Martinsville. Remember, no fast repair, 100% fuel load. Gives these guys roughly around 140 laps for the fuel run, so should not be a factor possibly until the end of this race. We'll have to find out. 5 sets of tires, but I believe it is 4 here tonight. 3 green-white checkered attempts if necessary. 200-lap race like Wesley mentioned. Stage breaks coming at the end of lap 35 and 70. These guys will get 1 pace lap and then probably go another one. So, I mean, Wesley, what do you think we're going to expect here tonight? Truck racing has always been probably one of my favorites here at Martinsville. I love the Cup Series. I love the Xfinity Series. But, man, there's just something about the trucks when they come to Martinsville. They just put on one heck of a show.
So here's my deal, as they're going to get another couple of pace laps before they take green. Here's my take on this. Strategy at its finest. You got to pace yourself. Even though you're short track racing and you're not on a big speedway or an intermediate track, you got to know when it is time to go or when it is time to hang back. If you're too aggressive early, you're going to end up being out of the game. You got to know when it is the right time to power to the front to put yourself in the win column here at Martinsville.
Yeah, and we're getting ready here to come to the green flag. This time by Fred, the pace car driver, will come down into the pit lane, and these 24 truckers will go racing at high speeds around this paperclip. 0.526 miles, just a little over half a mile on the asphalt concrete surface. We were in Virginia last week, we're in Virginia this week, but this time we're racing from the paperclip. Green flag is out, we're racing from Martinsville. James Mullins leads the first lap after the start-finish line, but he's under fire currently from TJ Bartel, and Robert Malikian came third last week at Richmond. He's trying to continue that top 3 momentum that he had 1 week ago on the opposite end of Virginia, trying to do it more towards the west here tonight in Martinsville. He moves up to the 2nd spot as they head into turn 1.
Looks like these drivers are fighting the fog as well as nightfall settles in. Mullins in the point, Milliken 2nd, Bartel is 3rd. Johnson champion. Everyone else is single file. Here comes McKinney now making a run on Bliss as they work off 4.
Great battling throughout the entire field. Mainly that start was really chaotic as you see Brian Bliss try to close up the gap to Ryan Chapman in that 27 machine. Came into tonight as the points leader, and so far tonight he is the only driver to have gone 7 for 7 with top 10 so far, trying to make it 8 for 8 this season here at tonight in Martinsville, Virginia. There's a great battle going on. Kyle Milliken to the inside of Cody McKinney. Battle going on for 8th as they work off the corner. Michael Blackner has the door open as McKinney tries to work back to the bottom of Milliken going into 3.
Yeah, you got Slim Jim and Red Bull. What a great combination for an afternoon snack to keep you awake for a pick-me-up. Right now, it's the McKinney entry right now, pulling away from Blackner. He sets his sights on Milliken. That's going on to the top 10 as right now everyone's single file. We got trouble. Solari's around in the Menards, number 11. Oh, no.
And that'll bring out our first caution of the evening. And more than likely here, Wesley probably just wheel hopped it going into the corner, possibly And here it is, just unfortunately. Oh, this is the lap prior, so maybe he did get some help here. We'll have to see. We talked about before, drivers wheel hopping going into the corner. It is not really a thing that you typically see so much on the sim, but it is definitely still a possibility that you're used to seeing here. And it looks like,
wow.
It just stacks up. Oh, wow. So the 18 of Joey McKinney runs into the back. They stack up going into turn number 1. And just like that, Tony Solari goes around and brings out the first caution of the evening.
Yeah, there's the first yellow flag, and of course that will let everybody kind of slow down here with about 7 laps into it of 200. I don't see any need for anybody to come to the pit lane right now unless you're a guy like Gobble or Grassi or when involved in the caution. But in the back, you might want to make some adjustments. But your front runners, Jason, they're not coming in right now.
Yeah, definitely too early to pit right now. Usually you would see probably guys pit around maybe the lap 60 to 70 mark here, I want to say. But again, we're just commentators. We just watch these races here. And we expect a lot of cautions here tonight, Wesley. And the thing is, when you come to a track like Martinsville, track position is so key. Last year, we had a plethora of cautions, both in the spring and fall races, especially the spring race. And I know they said after that race they wanted to clean it up, the short tracks a lot. So far, they did. Bristol was one heck of a race. So was Wednesday and Monday for the Cup and Truck Series in Richmond, Virginia. So if you're really trying, obviously, to be up at this front, Wesley, you don't necessarily want to come into the pits unless you probably have to during a green flag run, per se.
Right now, the 60 machine of James Mullins is out in front. Couple of Toyotas along with Robert Milliken. Row number 1. Row 2 will find TJ Bartell in the Chevrolet. Then a couple other Toyotas with Marshall Johnson and Ryan Chapman, your top 5. Lights are off on the pace car. All right, Big J, we're getting ready to go back for the restart here with about 190 to go.
And take a look at this. Here we go. Coming up this weekend. Remember, folks, if you're a dirt racing fan or just a race fan in general, April 5th and 6th, the Dirt Car Series Comp Cams Super Late Model Series goes exclusively to Race On Texas this weekend on April 5th and 6th. Should be a fun one. I know Charles Wooten is just itching to watch those things on Race On. And we're coming down to the green flag here just in a second. About to head through the Geico restart zone. Green flag is back out. They kind of stack up the outside, but James Mullins and Robert Malikian lead them back into turns 1 and 2. TJ Bartell hot on the inside trying to take the second spot away.
Back to it again. Everyone 2 by 2, at least behind the leader, Mullins. They're going to work their way off the corner. Milliken on the outside. Champman will follow Johnson. All this goes on as McKinney is reeling him in back to 1.
McKinney trying to reel back in. Marshall Johnson got a little sideways entering turn number 1, nearly stacked up the outside lane. He'll take the position away from Kyle Milliken there entering turn number 3, but they battle side by side. Blackner to the inside of Bliss. Cody McKinney trying to find a way around him. And Wesley, it's so hard to pass here when you got guys like this going side by side. At some point, you might have to use the bumper, but don't use it too hard because you can send somebody around.
Mullins right now just continuing to hold on to that spot. Opened up about a half-second lead now on Bartell. Look at everybody behind them starting to get at least 2 by 2 or single file around the racetrack. No one jumping out of line. Everyone just kind of riding here as they come back after that first caution.
Nearly 3 wide going into turn number 3. Marshall Johnson thought about putting it 3 wide with Michael Blackner. They're going to fall in tow. Back to single file, double wide. Here comes the 22. He gets into the 9. And around goes Marshall Johnson in front of Cody McKinney. Heading into turn number 1. Drivers scatter on the racetrack. JP Burns able to get through. There's Brody Hannon to the outside. And Marshall Johnson will bring out the second caution after some contact with Michael Blackner heading into turn 1.
So the caution coming out. Here's a look at the replay to put us under our second yellow flag here at Martinsville. 200 laps, and obviously, Jason, this is not the strategy that we talked about. Marshall Johnson, McKinney getting by, but I'm not saying that it's big wrecks, but this is not what we wanted to see at the beginning of the race with cautions galore here. 2 now.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to see a plethora of cautions so early on here for sure. But, I mean, that is obviously, Martinsville, per se. This is just how it actually runs out. And again, had a plethora of cautions last year, and we very well could see the same tonight. James Mullins still leading, likes, being out front, wants to go green. I can only imagine that he wants that green flag run probably, but I mean, there's a few drivers up here. The entire top four, Wesley, have not gained any position since the start of this race. They have stayed right where they started, except Kyle Milliken, who's back there at 5th, up 4.
And I don't think anybody's coming to the pit lane right now either.
Yeah, no takers on pit road. I'm not seeing any. James Torrey and Nick Goebel are still on pit road for the time being. I believe they did come in and service their trucks once again. And James Torrey is now back out on the racetrack. So is Nick Goebel, from what it looks like. But, Wesley, when you come to Martinsville, and you've seen this racetrack plenty of times, just like I had the opportunity back in 2021 for the fall race. What makes this track so special? Because I know it's near and dear to a lot of drivers' hearts, including fans' hearts, even, us up here in the booth. This track, it's just a staple, I feel like, of stock car racing. And it's one of those events that you just, no matter who's racing or what, you have to witness a stock car race here.
Yeah, no doubt, for sure. Put it on your bucket list. Obviously, I had my buddy Caden Honeycutt from Nice Motorsports talking about the NASCAR Truck Series race on finish line today, and they're running at Martinsville, the race for the grandfather clock, the trucks in the Cup Series. And if you can't go to the big shows, you want to go to the late model show, you want to take in a modified show. Martinsville never disappoints, and even iRacing has had its share of monumental iRacing moments here at Martinsville too, for sure.
Getting ready to come back for the restart here. Second one of the evening, just working under the second caution here on lap number 19, going green on lap number 20. Bartel brings the outside lane up towards the wall, but it's going to be James Mullins who will lead him back down to the green flag here as Barney the flagman waves that green piece of fabric in the air, and you see the number 60, James Mullins, already back out front, but here comes Robert Malikian back to the inside here on the number 98 of Bartel as they work down into turn number 3.
Back for the restart again. Mullins on the inside. Milliken will follow to the bottom. Almost peels off and cuts off room on Bartel. Chapman right there in that mix, and McKinney follows as they work safely to the bottom off turn 4. Trying to get the outside lane to work is Blackner. He got the door shut on him by Custer, and they're 3 wide to 3.
3 wide in the back of the field. One of those trucks being the Gravedigger machine there off the corner. They went 3 wide. They got it worked out. Another tank slap to the wall there by the Gravedigger machine as you look at Michael Blackner wrapping around the bottom in 1 and 2 there right against the rumble strip that you don't really want to hit there because it'll really unsettle your car. You'll either get loose, hop the curb, spin out, or you can get really tight off the corner from hitting that. Next thing you know, you're heading towards the outside wall or up the racetrack, and you will lose a ton of positions here as they wrap around 1 and 2 this time.
About to put a 25-lap segment on the books. The bright LED lights illuminated here around the Big M as right now, here comes Mullins working off turn 4. Everyone is single file until you get to about the top 10. There's, of course, Burns and Johnson. They're battling for position. All this is happening back to the corner.
Oh, no, and Ben Tracy gets a little bit of a tap right there from TJ Bartel entering the corner. Sent him up the racetrack. He'll take that position as there was a little bit of a bobble with Marshall Johnson entering the corner. Ben Tracy loses about maybe 4 to 5 positions going back into turn number 1. He's under fire right now from the 92 of Jake Euler. Oh, no, and I believe Kyle Milliken has gone around off turn number 2. Saw him jump down really fast on the scoring pylon, and the driver who was running up in 5th, and oh no, he does not look like he is too happy. And Wesley, I can only imagine he possibly got a little bit of help there from Cody McKinney right behind him.
Yeah, man, definitely looks like he is very frustrated for sure. Hey, by the way, I made a mistake. The trucks run on Friday night, the Xfinity Series race Saturday, and the Cup race is on Sunday at Martinsville Speedway this weekend. So that's really cool. All 3 series of racing here, and that is why we're under the yellow flag. Look at that, the 42, Kyle Milliken. I'm just, man, I'm not a fan of these cautions so early in the race right now. What is that, 3 or 4 cautions now in 30 laps?
Yeah, it's 3 cautions down here out of the first 27 laps, and we did have some takers come down pit road that last time by. Marshall Johnson, Chris Custer, one of the newcomers, I believe, to the series as well there in that 66. That's a new name I have not heard. Ben Tracy, obviously, Nick Goebel, and once again, and Jake Euler in the number 92 making his second or third start, I believe, here this week at Richmond. Had a solid showing in the Cup Series on Monday night, even though he did get into the back of Jeff Chandler, sent him around into turn number 1 as we work under the 3rd caution here. We're going to take a quick break, step aside, let these guys pace for a little bit before we come back for the restart. We'll be right back after this from Martinsville.
Drag race to the line!
Welcome back to LSRTV's coverage of the FTSR Sim Racing Points Truck Series, working under the 3rd caution. Coming back for the 3rd restart here of the evening. And just like that, green flag's back out in the air. Still James Mullins out front here at Martinsville as he leads them down into turn number 1 with Robert Malikian on his outside. Here comes TJ Bartell, though. He wants a piece of this as the field scrambles down the back straightaway.
Back up to speed again. Mullins still again, 2nd verse, 3rd, 4th, same as the 1st, up in front. Bartell the 2. Milliken, Chapman, McKinney, they're all behind them door to door, single file. Here comes a big burst of momentum. Chapman in the clown color looking purple, green, red machine making a run to the inside at 3.
Yeah, we do know, obviously, if you are a regular viewer to the Sim Racing Points Truck Series, really just FTSR in general, this is a trading paints issue, we're being told for sure. Usually the 27 machine usually runs the Martin Sports machine every single week, but that is why the 27 looks those really sharp. I tell you what, though, Wesley, despite the issue with trading paints, which is obviously the service that these guys use when they have custom paint schemes on these race trucks compared to the regular paint booth shop that they have on iRacing, that 27, it might not be the standard paint scheme he usually runs, but that thing is standing out here tonight.
Yeah, it is, and my apologies for not having the correct paint scheme, obviously. So we'll watch this going on now as Grasse under attack in the Pennzoil machine. I think that's what the colors are usually for him as McKinney tries to clear by. Here comes now the 3 of Bliss up on the high side. Opens the door for Gobble Gobble to the bottom, and look who about bounced off the wall. Rhodes in 88 saves it as they work the 3.
These guys back here are really getting dicey. Drivers all the way up at the top of the safer barrier. That's about the 3rd or 4th time I've seen Brian Bliss travel all the way up and out of the groove into the marbles. He'll hit the rumble strip that time into 1 and 2. Almost fall back to the front bumper of John Rhodes. Believe that is another newcomer here to the series. Very unfamiliar name, trying to make a name for himself. Falls back to the front bumper of Jake Euler, still early on in the race. And 4th caution of the evening flying here on the racetrack. Looks like this time it could be possibly Ben Tracy. We'll have to take a look and see here as this puts us under the 4th caution of the evening tonight here in Martinsville.
Now, do they have a stage is in this race, Jason? I don't think, yeah, they do have a stage, right?
Yeah, the stage break came here at lap 35. So actually, I believe this is the stage caution. I believe this is what this was. So they gave them another lap or 2 before they elected to throw the yellow right there. So this is actually going to be the completion of stage number 1. So much chaos here tonight that we forgot there was even a stage break, so we apologize for that. But these guys are taking their time coming down pit road right now. James Mullins leads the brigade all the way down. Few drivers stay out. Lewis Meglin, Kyle Milliken but it's going to be James Mullins picking up the stage win, and he was the winner last week from Richmond, dominated that race, trying to see what he can do in that number 60 machine. But while these guys take their pit stops, we'll step aside once more here, let them come to the service of their crews, and we'll be right back for the restart here from Martinsville.
We're a racing family that you can trust on and off the track. Here at Hercules Foundation Repair, we are here to help with our free in-home evaluations and personal repair plans. So if you're looking for foundation repair, go online or give us a call to schedule your free inspection.
Drag race to the lunch!
Welcome back to the Martinsville 200 here for the FTSR division for the Sim Racing Points Truck Series. Just wrapping up the completion of stage number 1. Stage 2 will come to the completion at the end of lap number 70. Lewis Meglin, Kyle Milliken, a few others stayed out here. They're going to lead them down to the restart this time by. They pitted way earlier on in the race, and they're going to lead them down here on the front row as we're back racing from Martinsville on the paperclip as they lead them down into 1 and 2.
Let's try this again as the field works the back straightaway. They're all 2x2 right now. Let's have at least a 30-lap green flag run, shall we? Or at least a halfway, 60 laps or so. It's Milliken now the leader, Meglin second, Custer, Johnson, Mullinger top 5 as they all shuffle back into turn 2.
On that first lap of the restart, Marshall Johnson hit that inside curb, shot up the racetrack, nearly made contact with one of the drivers he's battling, as now he battles with Chris Custer, having a solid run right down at the beginning of stage number 2. But here comes the guy who's been the talk all night long, who's been pretty much the only race leader, as Chris Custer goes way up out of the groove, 3 wide, and he's going to fall back a significant amount of positions as Mullins now moves into the 4th spot.
Go out of the groove, somehow saves it just a little bit, and then getting bottlenecked behind them as the 23 of Hanna goes around. Some other drivers got collected. Looks like Duranko might have got picked up in it, and the caution will come out again on lap 44.
And Wesley, that looks right there, just like the Xfinity Series pile-up, almost coming to the finish of the race last year here for the second to last race in the playoffs. You remember Sheldon Creed, Justin Allgaier, and obviously the 21 of Austin Hill battling. And right here, it just all goes bad. It looks like the 66 of Custer got loose. Everybody stacked up, tried to check up. The 2 of Duranko, the 23 of Hanna, 92 of Euler, the 11 machine of Solari, and everybody does a great job behind him, including Rick Webb, Sherwood Williford, Nick Goebel, to be able to back it down. But just like that, now we are under the caution here once again. Let's take a look real quick with the caution summary presented by Virginia81.com. And this is the race summary so far. 5th caution of the evening. 16 caution laps out of the 45 ran. Only 2 lead changes. And it was between the 60 of James Mullins and obviously the 42 of Kyle Milliken from the start of this one here so far as they work under the caution. And this is the thing, Wesley. When you come to a race like this, I've only ran a few official races here. I mean, you can have issues up in the front. We've seen it a lot throughout the real world with racing here. Like we just mentioned, the finish last year with the Xfinity Series. But when you get in the middle and the back of this pack here at Martinsville, man, it's almost like running a little tiny super speedway race where you're just constantly side by side. You're constantly door handle to door handle, beating the heck out of one another, bending sheet metal, hurting some feelings. And unfortunately, you get a lot of wrecks, kind of like what we've seen so far here tonight.
Yeah, you're exactly right, and obviously that's something we'll for sure keep an eye on. And man, right now we're kind of watching Kyle Milliken show his strengths now in the top spot in that elevated esports Toyota number 42. Lewis Meglin right behind him. Marshall Johnson third. Remember, Johnson almost had a little hiccup earlier, got collected, was able to keep on going. He's in that third spot. Mullins, who led the first 25 laps of the race, is back to fourth. Chapman, your top five. But right now, just things kind of calming down, if you will. And that's probably a good idea as we get ready to probably turn up the wick as halfway approaches here at Martinsville.
Getting ready for 1/4 of the race completed after we hit lap number 51. And so far, it's been Kyle Milliken out front since the start of stage number 2. Both him and Lewis Meglin have not hit it in those Toyota Tundra TRD machines so far here tonight. Marshall Johnson last pitted at lap number 26. James Mullins, lap 37, and most of the rest of the field, the same could be said for them. Ben Tracy pitted at lap number 26. Robert Malikian has the fastest lap of the race so far with an 18.945, but we're getting ready for the restart here on lap number 48, hitting lap 49, this time at the line. Milliken and Meglin, the two M's, lead them back down here at the Big M, Martinsville Speedway, as they all filed out into turn number 1.
Yeah, that's the big M and the little M as well, because this is short track racing at its best as Milliken goes to the outside lane immediately, opens up the door to the inside. Here comes now Johnson, power into the bottom. He's going to throw the block on Meglin. Behind him there, 2 by 2 as they go to 1.
Marshall Johnson was one of the very first few cautions here in tonight's event at Martinsville and now finds himself all the way up to second, while Lewis Meglin, trying to file back down to the bottom of the racetrack, just can't get down there as he battles with Ryan Chapman. Falls back to Bartell now as they work off turn number 4, with Milliken still holding the lead over Johnson.
All this going on again now with Milliken in that top spot. Johnson there up against the safer barrier. Under attack is Meglin. Meglin now gives plenty of room to Mullins on the inside. The Red Bull Blackner entry also stays locked to the inside of the racetrack. Those go now door to door. Behind them, everyone else single file in the front, top 5 to 1.
Door to door between Blackner and Meglin, as Meglin looks like he's finally going to be able to slide down on the bottom here as they go into turn number 3. He gets a way better entry, but overdrives the corner down into 3. Opens up the bottom big time for Robert Malikian. Oh, we got one sideways there in the back. That was Chris Custer. Did a heck of a job saving it, but he's going to run right into Cody McKinney. Drives him up the racetrack. McKinney nearly goes to the safer barrier and will just tag the wall up the corner 4 wide for a moment, as the 88 machine right there of John Rhodes was right in the way, but they all get through unscathed as they come off turn 4.
Gotta love this short track battle now as the darkness has settled in here at Martinsville. Up the hill goes that 28 machine. He's in trouble. That's, of course, McKinney. All this going on now as we got a battle for second, heating up all 4.
Ryan Chapman takes the second spot away from Marshall Johnson. Remember, Ryan Chapman, like we mentioned earlier, as we have a caution on the racetrack, only one to have 7 for 7 top 10s this season, trying to make it 8. And another caution being brought out by Nick Goebel, who goes around here off turn number 4. We'll take a look here at the LSRTV replay to see what happened to the one machine. Wesley, possibly a little bit of help here coming off turn 4.
Here's a look at what just took place to put us under yellow flag. What is it, 6 now? Here in the 1, just nowhere to go.
Flip the inside.
Yeah. Now I'm thinking that's a trading paints issue as well. Again, as you mentioned, right? Is that
Yep. Oh, yeah. Yep, for sure. And the one machine right there went around coming off turn number 4. We mentioned how those curbs, you don't want to get on them at all. You can see a lot of guys running, really, really close to that. You want to get right up against it, but if you hit that thing, you're either climbing up over it, spinning out off the corner in the center entry, whatever it may be, or you're traveling far up the racetrack. Few drivers I have seen here in the past who run that line very, very well when it comes to the real world. You think about 2 drivers in particular who run very well at the short tracks. Ryan Blaney, winning the race here in Martinsville to punch his ticket to the championship 4 just last fall here at Martinsville, and also Denny Hamlin, who has had a lot of success here at the Martinsville Speedway. Nobody probably gets down to that curb better than those 2 drivers, but unfortunately, sometimes some of these guys, they clip that curb and they go around, just like you saw Nick Goebel, who brings us under the caution here on lap number 57, working to lap 58. But Wesley, it's been so far a pretty eventful race so far, to say the least, I'd say.
It certainly has. Definitely a lot of things going on now as we work lap number 57 of the event. Well, let's say we're about 1/4 of the way through, 50 laps per distance, 50. And again, it looks like Trading Paint's having a mind of its own. I'm seeing it going primer, white to colors updating, and they're refreshing and trying to fix it. So, hey, look, things go wrong, things go awry. If it's not iRacing, it's Trading Paints. It's not Trading Paints, it's social media. So it's not our problem with iRacing on LSRTV, and we'll keep on rocking and rolling. Yeah.
Yeah, we in fact have been rocking and rolling. These guys have been rocking and rolling so far here tonight, obviously, with the cautions that we've seen. And remember last year, Wesley, like we mentioned when we went to commercial break, told you that there was a lot of cautions here last year. I know we set it under the caution at one point as well. And hopefully that doesn't continue a trend like it was last year early in the spring race. Remember Richie Coy coming through with the victory that night and also won the 2023 season race here as well. So sweeping Martinsville last year, but it opens up the door for a new winner this season. Kyle Milliken does not have a win this season tallied up on the board. Ryan Chapman, despite being the points leader, having those 7 top 10s, 5 top 5s, yet to beat a victory lane so far compared to the man who's chasing him down right there in that number 60 machine of James Mullins, who is 3 wins up on the board this year. The same could be said for Brody Hanna, the only other driver who has won a race so far this season besides those 2 drivers has been Tyler Brown in the number 20, or not the 28 rather, but the 00 machine, who is not here tonight, I believe, despite having a great run 1 year ago here from the paperclip. But getting ready to come down for the restart here on lap number 60 to hit 61. Milliken and Chapman will be the race leaders on the front row this time. They head into the restart zone. Barney the flagman waves that green piece of fabric again, and we're racing back down into turn 1 and 2 with the leaders side by side as they battle off the corner.
By the way, don't forget to join us tomorrow night for the Stars and Stripes Racing League, the quarterfinals in the On the Throttle podcast playoffs. Of course, the bracket challenge. That's going to be fun at Watkins Glen International. But right now, back here at the big race at Martinsville for the Full Throttle Sim Racing Truck Series, and everybody just kind of patiently working down the back stretch, and not anymore. Just as soon as I say that, the caution flies as the 33 of Wilford's in trouble with the Good Wrench colors.
Yeah, always supporting those Good Wrench colors, throwing it back to the 2000.
Oh!
I don't think that was necessarily on purpose. I believe the 1 machine just got in there way too hot. I can't see that being an issue between those, but here's the restart. Let's see if anything does happen between the 1 and the 33 right here. This is a few laps before the caution, obviously, and the 33 and the 1 head down into the corner. 1 gives the bumper, but I mean, like I said, I don't really see any harm, no foul play on this one. You see right here going into the corner, big slam, and that's what sends the 33 up the racetrack before ultimately going around just another lap or so later. It had anything to do here with the 1. Oh, he did! Oh my goodness! Oh my gosh!
Oh my! Welcome to my world. Beep! That's all I'm gonna say. Yeah.
Referencing Freddy Krueger right there from Nightmare on Elm Street, one of the classic horror film franchises. But I tell you what, Wesley, when it comes to the Full Throttle Sim Racing guys, stuff like that is really frowned upon. You don't really see Sherwood Williford get into it with many drivers. He got into an incident once last year at Texas with a driver, but there was no foul play really on it besides the other driver. But that definitely is more than likely, that was a flat-out try to dump him going down into turn number 1. I can only imagine that probably after tonight, Sherwood Williford will have a 1-week vacation for sure after that move. And that, like I said, that is really frowned upon here in the series. And you don't really see a lot of that. We've seen a lot of clean racing so far this season, but I mean, tonight has been anything but that.
And now Brian Chapman is up in front. Elevated Motorsports 1 and 2 for Chapman and Milliken. top 5 all Toyotas. And you got Bartel there in 6th. Our friend of Canada, the 99 Toyota, John Paul Burns. Followed by a couple of Fords of Blackner and Tracy. And then Wayne Grassi in that number 7 machine right now, the top 10. So, all right. You got to wonder if the race directors finally got to put the law down on them and say, guys, come on, let's try to get to the end of this thing, or at least try to get to halfway. So, yeah.
Yeah, and soon, Wesley, too, they're going to be coming to the stage caution pretty soon. So the caution will be coming out here once again pretty soon. I can imagine they will probably, if I were to assume, get the 1-to-go signal right here from Barney the Flagman. We'll see if the pace car lights go out from our pace car driver, Fred. And if it comes back in the frame, we are going back racing this time by. So it's going to look like it's going to be a 3-lap shootout to the completion here of stage number 2. Ryan Chapman, your race leader so far here for the time being, and so far this season as well. He's only got 1 stage win, trying to make it 2 here tonight. Kyle Milliken right to his outside. He has 2 stage wins. He has no stage wins. 2 top 5 so far this season. We'll see if they can make it to the end of stage number 2. Here we go. Chapman, Milliken, front row. Back to the restart zone. Chapman fires out of it. Good restart for the driver, the 27, as they head back into 1 and 2 with Johnson getting to the inside of Milliken.
Back underway now, lap number 67. When they work the back stretch, it's going to be now in a door opened by Johnson. Johnson inside. He'll go after Milliken. And while that goes on, it is Chapman pulling away as the leader. Meanwhile, the 9 and the 42, door to door, 16, 60, and so on off 2.
Lap and a half to go in the stage. This time by, they'll be given a 1-to-go signal here as you see Johnson work to the inside, pushes Milliken up the racetrack. Here comes Robert Milliken to the inside of Milliken. 2 similar last names, 2 totally different drivers. They're going to battle it. Oh no, Milliken slides it up, locks it up into turn number 1. He's up and into the barrier, but no caution. We stay green for the time being. They're 3 wide, heading into the corner. Looks like they'll get away scot-free, but Ryan Chapman will come through to pick up the stage number 2 victory, and they will throw the caution here just in a second, and there it is. Caution again, this time for the completion of stage number 2, won by Ryan Chapman. 2nd, Johnson. 3rd, Milliken. 4th, James Mullins. 5th goes to J.P. Burns. That's your top 5. Top 10, you'll find Bartel, Blackner, Tracy Bliss, and Cody McKinney, who has had an eventful night. Usually you see him up at the front of these ones. But Wesley, these guys are about to go into the 3rd stage here pretty shortly. It should get exciting here. We'll have to see if we can get this long green flag run.
Yeah, a very fun one at that. And when it's all said and done, of course, we're watching Ryan Chapman be the man to come down to the pit lane. And I think everybody, for the most part, is going to come to the pit lane now, especially the front runners that are making their pits for the first time, coming in 4 tires and fuel. And I don't want to say that they can go to the end of this race, but if they can play their cards right, and if we get a lot of cautions, Jason, they might be able to do it.
Yeah, they should be able to make it all the way to the end here, because we're going to restart probably just shy of lap number 80. So you look at the lap, it's about 120 laps remaining, and if they do have cautions, they'll definitely be able to make it. But even if it does run green, they'll be able to run the fuel run. The question is going to be, how will the tires play out? So we'll have to find out. But real quick, we'll take a quick break, get you ready for the start of stage number 3 here from Martinsville. We'll be back in a jiffy.
We're a racing family that you can trust on and off the track. Here at Hercules Foundation Repair, we are here to help with our free in-home evaluations and personal repair plans. So if you're looking for foundation repair, go online or give us a call to schedule your free inspection.
Drag race to the line.
We're a racing family that you can trust on and off the track. Here at Hercules Foundation Repair, we are here to help with our free in-home evaluations and personal repair plans. So if you're looking for foundation repair, go online or give us a call to schedule your free inspection.
Welcome back. Start of stage 3 about to happen. Grossi and Meglin elected to stay out under the caution for the end of stage 2. Stage number 3, green flag is in the air this time, and Grossi does not get the start he needs. Chapman will give him the bumper entering turn number 1. Meglin up the racetrack might be able to get to the outside enough of Wayne Grossi. They remain side by side with Grossi powering back to the inside for the race lead.
Back underway, side by side now as we're approaching halfway, and we're in stage number 3, the Pennzoil Yellow Machine. Grossi inside, Meglin up top, and there's contact, and around goes the leaders. Grossi got turned. So many others get collected too. It is a big stack up. My goodness, track is blocked from top to bottom. Scattered, smothered, and covered short track style here at turn 2 at Martinsville.
Wow, and we're going to take a look here at the replay. I believe the 7 machine just could not get up through the gas quicker than what probably Ryan Chapman wanted to. Maybe gave him the bumper again. This is coming in. Yeah, just got to the inside of him, got way too aggressive. Grossi tried to slam the doors shut, but unfortunately, an aggressive move both out of the 27 and the number 7 machine. So probably going to be some words spoken between those two after the race, I can only imagine for sure. And it creates a massive, and I will say it again, massive stack up coming out of turn number 2 to put us under the caution yet again here tonight, with Lewis Meglin leading the field right now.
Man, that was the equivalent of the big one like you would see at Talladega or Daytona that just happened over there off the corner. Oh, my. Hopefully we'll see who's able to keep on, continue on. Does this series have fast repairs? I don't think they do, Jason, do they?
No, we do not have fast repairs here in the FTSR series, no matter what we're running. So it's going to be interesting. But here's the good thing, though, about this, Wesley. At least compared to Talladega, they're not running nearly up to 200 miles an hour around this .526, short track. So the damage isn't going to be that bad. It's just about how hard do they hit other drivers with the front of the nose of these trucks. You see a lot of damage to some of the back bumpers of them, damage on the right front, the left rear. It will hinder you, but not as much as it would at your typical cookie cutter 1.5 miles or even super speedway. So they should be able to get their repairs done. The big thing that's probably a factor here out of this was Ryan Chapman, one of the fast guys, 2 laps down, currently in the pits. Believe he is out of it now. But that's a huge storyline, Wesley. I mentioned earlier, this guy was the points leader coming in over his teammate James Mullins by 47 points. James just won last week, so he closed the gap in a little bit compared to what it was last week. And you can only imagine with how James is so fast here tonight, he will really close in the points lead probably after tonight. And Ryan Chapman going 7 for 7 top 10s, trying to make it 8 for 8. It's 2 big stories.
So drivers that somehow, some way able to continue, at least getting back in line. I don't want to say that there was a lot of damage, but man, that was probably one of the biggest Martinsville wrecks we've seen in a while in the world of iRacing. Now we'll see how much damage is on a good bit, or if others are able to just walk away. As right now we put the 43 now to the top spot for, of course, Lewis Meglin. Marshall Johnson second. Mullins has climbed his way back to third, followed by Burns and Blackner, top 5. How many cautions has that been, Charles? Bottom left of the monitor, approaching halfway. What is this now? 6, 7? He kept hitting 9. Oh, my. I'm even behind schedule, Jason.
Yeah, and we're not even halfway in this event yet. We're just approaching the halfway point after lap 100. We've already had 9 cautions, 39 total laps, and 5 lead changes, but they're getting ready to come back here for the restart. It's going to be Lewis Meglin still holding the top spot despite staying out under the stage 2 completion caution here. He'll lead him back to the restart zone. Marshall Johnson gets a great restart there on the outside lane. Might overshoot the corner. He doesn't. They'll be side by side this time coming off turn number 2 for the race lead, as it looked like one truck got up into the wall. That was J.P. Burns, as Michael Blackner falls way down the scoring pylon, comes back, believes some sort of connection issue on the 22.
Trying to work to 15 laps remaining to the halfway mark here for round number 8 of the Sim Racing Points Full Throttle Sim Racing Truck Series at Martinsville. Johnson now the man up in front. How long will that last, as he just got around Meglin on the restart? Blackner showing strength, doing well. Our friend from Canada, Burns, in the top 5. And everybody play nice so we can get to cross flags. Oh, I spoke too soon.
Oh, well, they saved it there. Coming off turn number 2, looked like a little bit of an issue possibly between the 66 of Custer and the 54 of Rick Webb. But there's Michael Blackner, brings out our 10th caution of the night. Talked about the connection issues. Might have had a part in that coming off turn 4. Might have been just that he clipped the inside. Obviously, those rumble strips that aren't necessarily a rumble strip. They're just curbs painted like a rumble strip. And we'll take a look here at the LSRTV replay, and you see coming off 2, very low exit for the driver of the 22 machine entering turn number 3, and pops the curb like we saw earlier with another driver of Nick Goebel. Sends the 22 around to bring out the 10th caution of the evening.
Caution out again here. Oh, my. Marshall Johnson, Lewis Meglin, John Paul Burns, TJ Bartell, Brian Bliss right now, your top 5. That's the way it stands, as they are all single file around the racetrack. And Johnson in them Craftsman colors, the Craftsman Toyota, leading the way right now. As Johnson, Meglin, 1 and 2, as we are approaching again halfway here in what has been a caution field, Jason Rockefeller. First 100 laps here at Martinsville, no doubt, man.
Yeah, it has definitely been a tough one. I believe that's Purdy Hanna, who's going to get the Lucky Dog Award. We'll get 1 lap back at least. And right now, your leader, like you mentioned, Wesley, Marshall Johnson in Craftsman colors, always supporting them. Beautiful looking truck for sure, no doubt about it. Would be beautiful to see that thing here in victory lane. Would elect him to give that 1 win tallied up on the scoring charts tonight here. 1 pole for the driver of the number 9 this season. 7 starts, 8th one of the evening tonight. 4 top 10s, no top 5s, and Lewis Meglin, who you'll find way down in the points right now. Trying to currently find him, actually. And Lewis Meglin, if I could find his name, Lewis Meglin actually right up above Marshall Johnson, back by 109 points in the charts so far. 3 top 10s for the driver of the 43 this season. 1 top 5, 7 starts. 8th one of the evening for him here tonight. You have J.P. Burns running right behind them in the 99 Exalta colors there. Right behind them. So all of them are right there in the points together. 109, 115, 123 back. And 6 starts for the driver of the number 99. 1 top 5, 4 top 10s. For him so far. So these drivers have an opportunity, Wesley, to capitalize if they can stay out there, out front here for these remaining 110 laps remaining tonight here in Martinsville.
Partly cloudy conditions. It felt like it was looking like it was really foggy when this race first started, man. It looks like things have finally cleared up now as nightfall settles in. There's a look at that Kaufman Creative weather conditions, and I can't complain with it. Little windy, though, here right now in the sim.
Yeah, a little windy, not going to really play a factor on a short track compared to what you would see usually on a 1.5 miles, even a little bit of a road course per se, and obviously a super speedway. But these track temperatures are perfect for racing here tonight. Nice, cool weather, grip, but obviously we have seen a lack of grip out of these drivers here tonight. Lots of drivers going around. Lots of drivers being involved in incidents. We saw the massive pileup many laps ago. Obviously, 2 cautions ago, actually, I believe it was here. But we're getting ready to come back down for the restart. Johnson, Meglin will lead them back down this time by here for the completion of this caution here. Restarting on lap number 93. Green flag is back out. JP Burns does not get the start he wants. Stacks up the field big time. Slows him up getting into turn number 1. And I believe they go around entering turn number 1. Cody McKinney's around. So is Brian Bliss. This will put us under, I believe, would be the 11th caution of the evening as they try to sort themselves back out.
This time they can't even get to a restart without calamity. Look at this, as everybody is just bunched up, one behind the other. And there you see the end result. 3 wide, 3 got greedy. Had a chance to go through the middle, and well, let's just say it was like bumper cars, rock'em sock'em robots after that.
Yeah, it definitely is for sure. And you see Brian Bliss and the 28 Cody McKinney trying to catch up to the pace car right now. Lewis Meglin still out front. Wayne Grassi has elected to come down to the pits this time by. Only driver, it looks like, 2 come down so far. Let's take a look real quick here again at the Virginia811.com race summary tonight so far. That's the 11th caution of the evening. A quarter of this race almost run under caution laps and 6 lead changes so far here tonight. So it has been a night to remember for some not so much here as we work around on lap number 95. And I mean, Wesley, this is just a product of Martinsville racing usually. I mean, you could see the long green flag runs like we've usually seen in the Cup Series, but when it comes to the trucks, there's just something about it where a lot of chaos can kind of be brought out.
Yeah, for sure, man. Obviously, just kind of watching what just took place and get everybody back in line. We'll try this again. Close it in on halfway. Another handful of laps. But, man, this has been a wreck fest, dude. I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, but, man, whoever, guys, come on. Let's get to the end of this thing here. My.
Yeah, and that's a thing. And actually, Charles in our ear. Charles, I want to bring you in real quick and talk about that just for a second. And he says he doesn't want to come in, but he'll try here. Charles, tell us about the race timer you just mentioned in our ear here, and tell it for the folks on the broadcast watching and listening. They have 1 hour remaining in the session. What does that mean for these drivers and people watching?
It means we're going to run out of time. Plain and simple. I think we're going to run out of time. I'm not knocking the league, but at the pace we're going, I honestly think we'll run out of time here tonight. With 1 hour and 5 minutes left on the timer, they're going to have to get their act together on the track, or we're going to be calling the checkered flag. With the 60 laps to go later on in this race, probably.
Yeah, and it will be interesting for sure. And this happened to me once, Wesley. I called a PRL Truck Series event over on Race Spot last year, about a year and a half ago, with our very own Terry Radford, obviously. And we had an incident like that with the PRL Truck Series. They ran out of time in the session, and they had about 15 laps to go. And with the session time coming out, they ended the race with about 15 laps to go or so. So it is a possibility that could happen here tonight, but hopefully that is not the case. Just shy of halfway here, Marshall Johnson, Lewis Meglin will lead him back down into the restart zone. Meglin does not get the restart he wants. Nick Goebel will jump from the top down to the bottom. He'll follow third in line on the bottom, with Johnson shooting out front as Bartel battles with Meglin back to 3.
All right, let's get back going again here now. As a couple of laps to the cross flags. Let's see if the process of elimination will stop the craziness of a caution. Maybe the race director has put in their ear, hey guys, you got less than an hour's time to knock out 100 laps. Well, let's be honest here. As they come to halfway, it can be done, Jason. You could run 100 laps quick around the paperclip, but you can't have a wreck fest to do it.
Just guys got to be careful. You see Lewis Meglin went from the top, jumped down to the bottom. JP Burns battles with Rick Webb coming off turn number 2. They'll battle for position as the 16 of Robert Malikian nearly hit the outside wall coming off turn number 2. Burns follows now on the outside of Rick Webb. Will be able to tuck back in line. They head back to one. Oh, Meglin almost overshot the corner, got in the left rear of Nick Goebel, but they stay straight. They keep on trucking back to turn number 3.
All this going on again now as the cross flags have came out. Let's see now if we can get to the home stretch of this one. 98 to go with Johnson in the lead. Bartel second. Goebel third. Meglin, Burns all single file. Give a man props. They've gone more than 3 laps without a caution.
And this is exactly... Oh, and as you say that, caution is out this time for the 92 of Jake Euler entering turn number 1. See some heavy damage to the left front fender and the rear of that number 92 machine. And we'll have to see what happened to him here. I believe he might have just got loose and probably spun out.
And I'm to blame for the caution. I'll take fault for that one. It's on me.
Oh, way too hot. Wow, way too hot there into the corner for the number 92 of Jake Euler. We mentioned earlier in the broadcast at the top of the hour, we're talking about drivers getting loose into the corner, locking it up, wheel hopping, and unfortunately that is exactly what happened to the 92 of Jake Euler, something that you would typically see here with these trucks or even the Xfinity cars, which in my opinion happen a lot more frequently than the Truck Series does. 12 cautions tonight, a quarter of the distance out of the total distance, rather. Ran under caution laps. Half the distance has been run under caution pretty much. 6 lead changes here tonight with 52 caution laps up on the pylon as we work under the 12th caution of the evening. And Wesley, if this race keeps having cautions, Marshall Johnson more than likely is not going to have to pit per se unless a lot of the competition comes down pit road, because you can do it. If these cautions keep falling quickly and we run underneath the pace car's speed, you can stay out on those tires, and Marshall Johnson might be able to do just that.
Man, I would have thought that literally we'd be around lap 150 by now. I just can't believe what we're seeing. I don't know if there's a race director with this series or not, but there's got to be some type of a regard of, guys, we've got to run differently. We've got to do things differently. We can't be coming out here green caution. And you know what? And I don't want to even put the blame on the race director. It's on the drivers that are on this track. It's the way they're racing each other. Short track racing has this type of atmosphere, but Jason, you control obviously, the precedent. And what these guys are doing right now, there's just more take than give. It's making this race not be as hyped or excited as we would want it to be, for sure. Hopefully that'll change in the last 100 laps.
Yeah, I'm hoping so for sure here as we work under lap 107 out of the 200 scheduled distance that hopefully we are able to obtain and get to and complete and accomplish. We had a few cautions last week at Richmond for both the Trucks and Cup Series. Turn 2 seemed to be the difficult portion of the racetrack on exit, and a little bit off turn number 4, but tonight it has been pretty much the entry and exit of the corners pretty much everywhere. I think everything has been hit here tonight, probably except the hot dog stand here. Obviously, Martinsville very famous for their hot dogs, and I believe, Wesley, I saw a post here on NASCAR and NBC's Instagram that they will sell over 70,000 hot dogs, they estimate, this weekend at Martinsville, and that is a lot of hot dogs.
Yeah, and it takes like 5,555 to make a lap around the Martinsville Speedway. So if you're going to sell 70,000 of those famous Jesse Jones hot dogs, it's going to take about, 25, 30, 40 laps? I mean, it's a lot of hot dogs. As we go back to green here in Martinsville, guys, come on, let's get it to the finish.
Marshall Johnson leads him back down here with TJ Bartel hot on his heels down the back straightaway. Nick Goebel, the driver who brought out one of our cautions tonight, right on the bumper. They stack up entering turns 3 and 4. They get back going. They're about 3 wide off the corner there for a hot minute, but they settle back into single and double file as they enter 1 and 2 this time. Alan Duranko way up off of the groove as Cody McKinney trying to recover from the incidents he's been in here tonight. They work into turn number 3. They'll remain side by side off turn number 4.
Everybody side by side again. Behind them is right now the front guys get a little comfortable. Here comes now the inside lane coming to fruition now. McKinney under attack by Duranko. Duranko to the outside. He got Blackner and Grossi goes turning around on the back straightaway. Caution out again on lap 110. 111.
13th caution of the evening. This time the bell being run for the driver of the number 7 machine there. No pun intended with the Shell Pennzoil bell on the hood of that race truck here, and it came off turn number 2. Mentioned some contact there for the 7 of Wayne Grossi, and it's going to come right here this time out of turn number 2. And Brody Hanna just elects to try to come up the racetrack. Thought he was going to be clear, but ultimately was not, and turns the driver of the number 7 machine around, putting us under the 12th, or actually 13th, I believe I said, caution of the evening here, as Marshall Johnson continues to lead. And there's the caution laps ticker going up. 57 laps now under the caution, 13th of the evening, like we mentioned. 8 lead changes. A few drivers elect to come down, and we have 57 minutes remaining on the clock. We might be able to finish it, we might not here, but we'll have to find out. We'll step aside real quick, take a quick break while some of these drivers pace and possibly come down to the pits. We'll be right back for the restart here at Martinsville.
Drag race to the line.
We're a racing family that you can trust on and off the track. Here at Hercules Foundation Repair, we are here to help with our free in-home evaluations and personal repair plans. So if you're looking for foundation repair, go online or give us a call to schedule your free inspection.
And we're back here at Martinsville. I believe we just lost Jason again with weather-related issues. We're back for the restart. Lap number 116 of 200. Let's see how things shake up now, this time for a couple of Toyotas. And nope, guess what? You're back to green again, and we are wrecking again. And then for the second time tonight, another big stack up. Several trucks involved. Looks like another 10, 12 dozen trucks involved in an accident on the restart coming out of turn number 2. And it started with the one, and Nick Gobble, swallow up the field, not even on Happy Turkey Murder Day, and the big wreck ensued from there. Here's a look at the replay. And look at that. Wow. Remember, here's a look at it of what just happened there. The one machine and everyone else behind them very aggressive. It looks like they're going to quickly come back to a quick caution. Go back to a restart. Here's a look at it from another angle on the replay of what just happened the 43 and the 1 got together. That was Lewis Meglin and obviously the 1 of Nick Gobble. And then everyone else on back, like Brian Bliss, Jake Ollier, Duranco, Solari, everyone else nowhere to go. So, Jason, are you back with me, buddy? And I'm understanding that Jason Rockefeller has lost power at his office or his home. So be safe there with all the weather. Hopefully Jason can come back and jump in and join us again. If not, I'll take you the rest of the way here. And by the way, don't forget tomorrow night, the Full Throttle podcast bracket challenge for the Stars and Stripes Racing League rolls on to the quarterfinals. That'll be tomorrow night at 9:30 Eastern Time, iRacing on LSRTV. And that will be from Watkins Glen International Road Course Racing. So here's the deal. Understanding the lights are off for the pace car, we're going to go back to the green flag next time by. There is 80 laps to go. There is only 52 minutes remaining. 52 minutes left in sim time. And if anybody that's not new to iRacing, if the clock expires, either they will manually throw the checkered flag or they will at least, let them have a green-white checker. So it just depends. Charles, am I right? It just depends on the way they set it up in the server, correct? So at least get one shot at it. And I will tell you, ironically, here at Martinsville, it happened. I was at a race here where the event got halted. Dead in its tracks. The race came to a stop because of so many cautions and wrecks and whatnot. So the paperclip, the short track half mile of mayhem virtually tonight has definitely dealt its toll on the Stars and Car virtual members. So these trucks in the Sim Racing Points Full Throttle Sim Racing Truck Series. Let's try to go back to green here with under 80 to go. Back to the Geico restart zone, and they all get 2 by 2 by 2. Process of elimination as we have trimmed the fat. We're back at a green. Let's watch now Johnson inside on the restart. Plenty of room given this time down by Bartel and Meglin door to door. Behind them, Burns and Webb. McKinney on the inside. He's got company with Webb. Give each other plenty of room as they work off the corner. More give than take this time on the restart, and they're going to go back to 1. Johnson out in front, leads to the inside. He's got now Meglin to the bottom. Meglin will now deal with Bartel. Bartel on the outside lane. Here comes now the machine of Barnes. Barnes with Webb to the outside. They're right there in tow as they work their way off the corner out of 4. Thought about trying to go 2 by 2 for a moment, but now the conga line with at least the top 8 single file as they work their way back into the corner with 75 remaining. And now we got one on the loose on the bottom of the apron, the 99 of Burns. Canadian, our friend of the north of the Exalted Toyota, off the pace, trying to get rolling, stays in forward momentum. We stay green off 4. 75 to go. Trying to race the clock now in sim time and trying to get to the finish of round 8 here for the trucks at Martinsville. Finally, everybody getting back single file, back in nice formation. Grossi now making a move on the 23 of Brody Hanna. Hanna now trying to crack the top 10 in that single file position right now as they work their way around the racetrack. Grossi back to the bottom. Here comes Hanna to follow. Burns will shake off the high horse and try to get back on it one more time and make a run after these guys. In the Hanna 23, the 7 of Grossi on the outside opens that door to the inside. Brody Hanna gets the clear on him. This is the best battle on the racetrack as we close in on 70 to go. Racing rolling on here with Johnson, the man out in front. That's Marshall Johnson in front. Bartel in that second position. Meglin is up to 3rd. McKinney, Blackner, top 5. That's the way it stands right now with another lap as they work their way again off the corner. A 1 truck going up high. Hold on to it, buddy. And while that goes on, Burns and Grassi continue to battle door to door now for that spot as they work off turn 4 at the Big M. Martinsville Speedway, Jason Rockefeller having some technical issues. We lost him. Obviously, we're trying to continue to roll on here to the finish of this race, if you will. As right now, Johnson in the top spot, Bartel in second, McKinney is in third, Meglin, Blackner top 5. Everyone is single file as they work their way again off the corner for another lap around the racetrack here. And 70 laps to go. Johnson now still opening almost a half a second lead over the driver of Bartel. McKinney now to that third spot. Meglin and Blackner your top 5. This is Milliken right now. Watching him try to close in on Brody Hanna in front of him. He's got the tailgate of the 54 in front of him, also of Webb. Hanna does, and in front of the driver of Webb, Blackner has the 22 in front of his sights as they work their way off the corner. Off of turn number 4. The trucks, by the way, will be in action on Friday night at Martinsville Speedway, the Xfinity Series on Saturday night, and the Cup Series on Sunday afternoon at Martinsville Speedway. I was chatting it up with Clay Campbell earlier this afternoon. Tickets are still available for the Cookout 400 weekend at Martinsville Speedway as well. Johnson in the top spot, McKinney's in second, Bartel third, as they're single file with now Blackner and Hanna top 5 single file working off the corner. And man, so happy that we finally have got a very lengthy run going under our belt at full speed here after a lot of caution flags that have came out. No doubt in the first 100 laps of this one. Now at full nighttime conditions, the lights are fully engulfed around the Martinsville Speedway on the sim, and these guys are all working single file. Here comes now Blackner. One more time of the Red Bull 22, making a run on Meglin. Meglin now stays single file behind them, about 3 truck lengths back is Burns. Grossi falls back into that spot as well as they work their way off the corner. There's Grossi, and there you see him coming off of turn 4, holding off Custer in outside the top 10. Is finally, Charles, I'll bring you in. They are single file with under 70 to go at Martinsville.
Yeah, it was just a matter of time once we, trimmed the fat and some of the meat off of this, and we finally get to the, the good racing and, the spread out a little bit, but, caution free, and that's what we wanted.
That's what you call it, trimming the fat, the process of elimination, no doubt, and that's exactly what we had as we are rolling on until this race rolls hopefully to the finish. By the way, sim time, less than 45 minutes to go here, as right now it is Johnson finally up in front. The big Craftsman number 9 Toyota holding off the likes of another Toyota coming after him. Slim Jim coming after him, the 28 Menards colors of McKinney, and he's trying to make a run for him on the lead as they work into the corner. This time by, it'll be 60 laps to go. 60 remaining for these drivers as they hit the back straightaway. Johnson in front, McKinney second, Bartel is third. They're all single file now as they work their way again off the corner. My colleague and lead anchor Jason Rockefeller has lost power due to the severe weather in New Jersey, so I'm trying to kind of anchor this boat to the finish. Charles Wooten, production, iRacing on LSRTV from Martinsville, round number 8 of the Sim Racing Points Full Throttle Sim Racing Truck Series. Right now, the leaders work again off of turn number 4 down to the front straightaway. Johnson, McKinney, Bartel, Meglin, Blackner, top 5. Hanna has moved up to 6th. Webb, Milliken, Burns, and Grossi is back into the top 10. And everyone is all single file, waiting for this battle for the lead to intensify. It looks like it is heating up. It's going to pick up any moment now. We are continuing to watch this take place as we see them working their way again off the corner. Another lap in, kind of just waiting patiently. Everyone single file, still watching McKinney now go to the lead. Cody McKinney in the Slim Jim colors, getting around Marsh Johnson. Got to think they're saving their trucks for the end of this thing here, because there's definitely a long way to go. I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but you still got about less than 55 laps remaining in this event. All the while, the leaders working their way off the corner one more time into turn number 3. There you see now the machine back in the top 10. I'm going to say that's the 92 of Oliver. Allier, my apologies. Allier and Duranko all going at it, battling. And understanding there is something going on with the 9 of Marshall Johnson. In the words of the great song by Tom Petty, he is free falling back to back behind the field. McKinney out of the lead. Johnson is back to 5th and 6th now as Brody Hanna just got by him for 4th. Blackner is reeling him in as there is something going on with the 9 Craftsman Toyota of Marshall Johnson. Handling might be going away now. That's a battle going on now again for this spot, as it looks like Johnson is going to fall back outside the top 5 if Blackner can run him down. And yes, laps are ticking in. We are moving in, believe it or not, to the final 50 laps of this one here. Understanding in my producer's ear, 53 laps to go, 42 minutes remaining in sim time. McKinney, Bartell, Meglin, Hanna, Johnson, your top 5. Everyone all single file as Blackner now trying to get around Johnson for that spot. Webb, Milliken, John Paul Burns, Wayne Grassi, your top 10 is single file as single file can be for almost about a good solid 30-plus laps now around Martinsville Speedway. Maybe the race director finally got in their ear, had a conniption, and told them enough is enough. And again, Charles, it might be because of the process of elimination. There's no more, all of the good trucks are maybe what's left, for sure. Yeah, nobody to wreck is Charles. What Charles said, for sure, definitely, yeah. Nobody to wreck. Hopefully we can take this one to the finish, shall we? As right now, Martinsville Speedway, where we are, 50 laps to go. Lap number 150 on the board. Up 5 spots to the lead, the McKinney Racing number 28 Toyota Slim Jim and Orange colors of Cody McKinney. Cody McKinney leads them here at Martinsville as they work their way again off of turn number 2. Down the back stretch, we're still watching Marshall Johnson falling back as all of this is going on with Cody McKinney in the lead. And now you got some more racing happening here down that front straightaway. McKinney, Bartell, Meglin, Hanna, Johnson, top 5. Right now, here comes the 88 on the outside. That's a lap machine, I believe, of John Rhodes. He's a multiple laps down, 11 laps down to be exact. Matter of fact, Brian Bliss, the number 3 truck, is the first truck a lap down. If the caution was to come out with under 50 laps to go, he would get the wave around, or the free pass, if you will. Lucky dog, as they used to call it back in the day. Right now, watching now the 54, the 99 battle. This is going to be Rick Webb and John Paul Burns on the racetrack. Jason Rockefeller, hopefully we'll be able to get him back with us before the end of this thing. Understanding weather has knocked out the power in his New Jersey home. Obviously, lead anchor for the LSRTV coverage of iRacing and the Full Throttle Sim Racing Truck Series. This is only my second foyer working with them. I think it was the Bristol race I did with them a couple of weeks ago, and they definitely enjoyed it. We had a fun time, and obviously now short tracking at Martinsville to the finish of this one here with Cody McKinney leading the way. There you see this battle continuing in the top 10 between the 54 of Rick Webb and John Paul Burns, our Canadian friend. And while that goes on, Kyle Milliken and Wayne Grassi are in the top 10, and they are starting to run down these drivers for position. Or at least Kyle Milliken is. Wayne Grassi is back in 10th, but he is about 3 seconds behind them as they work their way down the back stretch. Oh, Paul Burns into the wall. The 99 Toyota Exalta colors off the safer barrier off turn number 2. Somehow he saves it. We'll continue to stay under the green flag rolling. Longest green flag run of the race, and they're going to try to make sim time. Remember what we talked about? If they just don't wreck each other like they're in the funny papers, you could make it to the end. McKinney in the lead, Bartell, Meglin, Hanna, Johnson, top 5, all single file. There is Wayne Grassi, by the way. The Pennzoil shell colors right there in the number 7. Behind him is Chris Custer in the Black Bullet Racing Ford. All of this going on now with, of course, Robert Milliken, Alan Duranko, Tony Solari, who had problems earlier in the race. We're starting to see them start to make a climb into the top 15 with another lap on the board. McKinney in the lead. McKinney, Bartel, Meglin, Hannah, Johnson, all in the top 5 right now as they work their way off the corner, put another lap on the board. Obviously closing in on the finish. Johnson, Blackner. Remember, we mentioned Marshall Johnson kind of losing ground as we now see the 54 of Webb and I believe Milliken battle. And all of this going on now with 35 laps to go to the finish of this one. The long green flag run is finally upon us. It is great to finally see it after what has been a race that has been plagued by caution flag galore here at Martinsville. We are finally hitting the end of it with now 35 laps to go. And now it's still McKinney the leader. There you see Rick Webb right there behind them. We mentioned the 9 machine of Marshall Johnson. Bad handling and all. He has reached back, though, into the top 5. As we continue to watch these guys working their way around the racetrack again. Watching probably the best battle on the racetrack, as it looks like Webb is going after the machine of Burns in the 99. We saw Burns bounce off the safer barrier just a moment ago. Behind Webb is Milliken and Grassi. And that currently is the top 10. Grassi starting to get a little closer, reeling in the driver Milliken as they work their way again down the front straightaway. Martinsville, one of those tracks where if you can get off the schneid and get your foot out of you-know-what, get your lead out of your-what, you can be able to fly here quickly and knock some laps out. And that's exactly what they've done, man. They've had a long green flag run. Is now it looks like the 33. Off Sherwood Williford again, 91 laps down. There's the 2, obviously, of Alan Duranko going a lap down as well. And when that happens, the leader's overtaken them. So now Lone Star Racing, James Torrey in the number 6 Ford is the first guy a lap down. If a caution was to come out with 30 laps to go, it would give him the free pass. The lucky dog, as they used to call him. Third stage of the race, trying to go to the home stretch. Big gaggle of traffic behind them. As now that's a battle going on with, of course, Allier and Tracy and lap traffic and lead lap traffic and so much more. As it's Milliken, Solari ready to go as they work in the corner. Got to give each other plenty of room. Work another lap around the racetrack here. Cody McKinney, TJ Bartel, Brody Hanna now, by the way. Highest climber of the race, the driver in 3rd, the 23, Brody Hanna. And he's finally called fire, and it is working. He has moved all the way to the number 3 spot. Up 21 positions. Anybody got anything for Cody McKinney? Cody McKinney in the lead. 25 laps to go. This has been the longest green flag stretch here in this event. Trying to beat the clock. Got less than 35 minutes to do it. Down the back straightaway. And we do have another caution. Yellow flag is coming out again. That'll end the longest green flag stretch of the race as Duranco with a problem in the number 2, Alan Duranco. Lap machine. Looks like Johnson was just going around him. Marshall Johnson in the 9, Duranco. And just drove in a little too hard into the safer barrier. And that's what happened to the number 2 machine to put us under the yellow flag. Field's coming on pit road. 25 laps to go. Everybody coming in for 4 tires and fuel. They're racing the clock in sim time. They're trying to race the finish. 4 tires and fuel. We'll be back to settle it out when we return from Martinsville after a break. This is iRacing on LSRTV.
Drag race to the line.
We're a racing family that you can trust on and off the track. Here at Hercules Foundation Repair, we are here to help with our free in-home evaluations and personal repair plans. So if you're looking for foundation repair, go online or give us a call to schedule your free inspection.
Welcome back to Martinsville. It looks like I might be carrying this one to the finish for you as Jason Rockefeller has been affected by Mother Nature. Hopefully he is safe, man. A lot of nasty weather that has came through the Midwest and the Mid-Ohio Valley with tornadoes and especially tornadoes. And definitely people be aware. And if you don't need to be out in that weather, don't be out in that weather, okay? I enjoyed a nice day off after calling a triple header of baseball yesterday. Let's go back to green, shall we? 20 laps to go at Martinsville. Cody McKinney back in front again after a lot of these drivers making pit stops. Bartell to second, Blackner third. As they work their way off the corner. Here they come to the line, 19 remaining. Everyone single file around the paperclip on the concrete oval here at Martinsville. There are 3 racetracks that are concrete racing surfaces in NASCAR. This is one of them. The other 2 is, of course, Bristol Motor Speedway and Dover Motor Speedway. As we got one bouncing off the wall, a little wiggle there by Meglin in the 43. Johnson behind him, so is a checkup by Milliken. Somehow they hold it together as they stay to the outside lane, and we got one spinning in the back. 54, Webb goes around, no caution. No caution, we stay green flag. Brian Bliss might have got a piece of it as well. We do stay under the green flag. 17 to go here at Martinsville. Watching now Johnson battle with Meglin. Grassi on the inside. Behind him is Custer. Milliken as well as Dyler or Allier. Euler on the outside lane, watching all this transpire. Yeah, Euler. And look out. No, Custer goes around. Come on, Custer. Get back going. Get back going, Custer. Get back going, Custer. Oh, no. Yes, it is. Oh, man. Oh, caution is out again. 15 to go. 66 going around. Here's a look at your replay presented by ATVO. And there you see Custer off of side draft on Milliken's truck here on the short track paperclip at Martinsville. And around goes the 66. Closing in on under 25 minutes to go, sim time. And in addition to that, oh boy, they're telling me also that 13 remaining. So race time, sim time. What are they going to beat? What are they going to beat here? So. By the way, don't forget you can follow the excitement that is the Full Throttle Sim Racing Series, of course, on FTSR Full Throttle on Facebook as well as on Discord. Get signed up, find out all the details, all your information, everything you want to know. You got it. The Full Throttle Sim Racing Series, I think they stay pretty busy, don't they? I mean, they have like leagues, like seems like every night of the week. Where will we be next week? Now, if you're following the correct racing schedule, as I think they do try to mimic, I want to say they're at Texas, right? Charles, ain't NASCAR in your neck of the woods next week? Texas. Yeah. He's I believe it's Texas Motor Speedway. We're racing at Martinsville this weekend. And yes, we were at Richmond last Sunday. A lot of controversial calls with what happened with that event, obviously. Do you think Denny Hamlin jumped the restart? And here's the deal. NASCAR said he jumped the restart, but they said, "Oh, I'll let him have it because it was the end of the race." What kind of shenanigans is that? Yeah. People, I promise you, I got somebody in my ear. I'm not just talking crazy. I'm not just talking to myself. Let's try this now with 10 to go. Here at Martinsville. Ready to bring this one to the finish as they get ready to go back to the Geico restart zone. This time by. Try one more time. Obviously, the Full Throttle Sim Series has a Cup Series, Xfinity Series, the trucks here tonight, and yeah, they even have a late model tour. Special events. Back to green, single digits now. Home stretch we go in round 8, 9 to go at Martinsville. Just hold it together, guys. Just let us get to the finish. They work their way back down into the corner again. McKinney, Bartell, Brody, Hanna. Hanna on the inside. He's trying to make a run for second. Here comes the boss of Full Throttle Sim Racing on the bottom. Battling Bartell. McKinney has pulled away. 8, now make it 7 to go as they work again off the corner. The 99 of Burns, our friend of the North in Canada, is back to 5th. Behind the Magagala traffic led by Blackner. Back straightaway, Blackner now. Plenty of room up on the outside. Solari now paddles on the 11. Here comes now Milliken to power through to the inside. Meglin will follow. He's off the safer barrier. Solari is. That opens the door to the inside lane. Meglin lose ground from Milliken. Milliken now. Blackner clear a path. They're on the bottom. Well, that goes on. It is 5 laps to go here at Martinsville as they approach the end. Pushed out of line is Blackner. Blackner trying to block 2-3 lanes. You can't do that. Here comes Milliken through the middle. The hot dog flying between the bun. Like a melted butter through a knife. Here comes now an opportunity for Milliken to open the door also to Milliken. That's Milliken and Milliken licking their chops, ready to pounce on these guys. Solari watches along as well. Battles with the 9 of Johnson. He's door to the back straight away. 4, make it 3 laps to go. Johnson, Solari side by side. The leader, McKinney, pulling away from Hanna. 3 laps remaining. The Slim Jim Menards Toyota number 28 out in front. Something about eating Slim Jim. I had a big pack of it this afternoon with some snacks in bed. 2 to go. And McKinney is running away with it. Snap into a Slim Jim. Snap into a Menards Toyota at Martinsville. Looking for a win. Here comes McKinney. Working turn 3. Coming to the CRN, 1 to go. More details at wearecrn.com as McKinney down into turn number 1 for the final time. Caution field indeed. But somehow we've reached the end of the rainbow with 20 minutes and sim time to spare. Here comes Cody McKinney to the line. He'll win at Martinsville. Brody Hanna's Ford will finish second between another Toyota of John Paul Burns from Canada third. Bartel and Blackner. As McKinney comes to the line, he is the winner. And one of the most unforgettable Martinsville turnouts, the way the races was ran, I'll never forget. Let them burn it down, and while we do that, here is your results of round number 8 of the Sim Racing Points Full Throttle Sim Racing Truck Series tonight at Martinsville. Cody McKinney the winner, and that Slim Jim Menards number 28 Toyota. It is Brody Hanna second. The boss comes back to finish in second. The second back, though, to McKinney. Then you got J.P. Burns finishing third. Bartel fourth. Michael Blackner will finish in the top 5. Kyle Milliken, Lewis Meglin, Robert Milliken, Marshall Johnson, and Tony Solari will finish all in the top 10. 11th on back will find Wayne Grassi, followed by Jake Allier, Rick Webb, and followed by Chris Custer, 14th. All those drivers were on the lead lap. From 15th on back is either 1 lap down or several laps down or even out of the race, including Brian Bliss, 15th, Ben Tracy, James Torrey, John Rhodes, Alan Duranco, and Nick Gobble. And the rest of the rundown, including Joey McKinney, Robert Sherwood Williford, James Mullins, who was strong at front at first, had problems in the end, as well as also Ryan Champion. The final look at the Virginia811.com race summary. 16 cautions at the end of it. Here's the statistic. We ran 200 laps. 125 laps, 1 1/4 were green. The other 75 were caution laps. And there were 11 lead changes at the conclusion. Coming up, we will grab the podium and we'll wrap things up and get you ready for Texas next week for the Full Throttle Sim Racing Series. Don't go anywhere. This is iRacing on LSRTV. Welcome back to Martinsville at the conclusion of a wild wreck fest tonight at Martinsville in round number 8. When it's finally said and done, your winner is Cody McKinney in the number 28 machine. Cody, 16 cautions, survival strategy, stay out of trouble. What's your take of getting the win here tonight?
Well, definitely didn't stay out of trouble.
Yes.
I think I got involved in every wreck that second half or second part of the race, whatever, just about. Honestly, I'm glad it happened here at Martinsville because you really don't need fenders. As long as the motor's running, you're good to go.
Man, I'll tell you what, definitely finally the long green flag run of the race, finally with about under 80 laps to go. Your truck really started to show strengths at the end, man. What was it like holding off these guys coming at you at the end? Like Brody Hanna up 20 some odd spots to try to make a climb to try to pull an upset win here.
I knew once I saw him on the relative take P3, if we didn't have a caution when we did, so that way we get fresh tires. I knew it was going to be a battle towards the end there. I'm just glad that final restart, Brody and TJ were, raced side by side for a handful of laps and just allowed me to pull away.
All right, man, before I let you go, Cody, thank your sponsors. We'll see you next week at Texas.
Appreciate Evo 9X Apparel for coming on for the remainder of the season. Premier Setups, Racing Setup Shops, Sim Racing Coach, DRE, Brian Kennels. Appreciate all their support. Everybody at FTSR that makes this league run. You guys for broadcasting and showing the league.
All right, there's Cody McKinney. He'll pick up the win here tonight in round number 8 at Martinsville Speedway. Brody Hanna, I'll chat with you now, man. Obviously, one of the hard chargers and the climbers of the race, no doubt, man. Up 22 spots to pick up the runner-up position. Your take of tonight's race at Martinsville and settling with a second-place finish.
Well, I don't know how many fenders or bumpers or side, quarter panels. I don't know how many of them I have left on the truck or how many we used in the pits. But I got to thank my crew for putting the thing back together, ending with 32 seconds of damage. But I spent most of the night repairing damage. At least, I feel like at least 15 minutes of damage on the truck. I don't even know what to say. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
I know that you are the promoter of the series. Obviously, what can you attest? Is it the handling? Was it the setup? Was it what made the race be what it was tonight? For sure.
I was disappointed with what we had tonight for sure. I think people were just driving over their head, getting impatient, running over each other. I know some of this is short track racing, it's Martinsville, but there was very little patience shown out there from the drop of the green and. I don't know. We've got a long night of review ahead, so I'm not looking forward to that. But I honestly just surprised we got back to P2. Very happy with that, almost like a win coming from 24th. And part of the reason I had issues tonight was because of qualifying, because I tried to go for a heater, and I should have just took a top 5 and ended up back there in the back on the start. So part of that's my doing as far as my finish goes, but as far as the race goes, yeah, I was just disappointed. We're gonna have to do better than that, that's for sure. That is not the FTSR way.
And obviously, again, if people don't know, Brody Hanna also the man behind FTSR for sure. So a second place finish, Brody Hanna. I can sense your frustration, but before I do let you go, man, thank your sponsors on obviously on that truck number 23 finishing in that Ford.
Yeah, on a positive note, I mean, I did race with some guys out there, had a little fun. I gotta thank TJ for racing me clean there at the end. Hey, he dropped a 4th. He should have been in here getting his interview as well. So I appreciate racing with TJ. Good guy, one of the best ones out there, one of the cleanest guys out there. Probably not a spot on his truck damaged. So I had fun with him. Congratulations to Cody. Again, he muscled his way through a lot of the incidents here tonight. Was able to fight his way back to the front. So congratulations to him, and JP on the third place. Got to thank you guys for broadcasting as well. Even though it wasn't pretty tonight, you guys stuck with it. I appreciate that. Hopefully it was entertaining from the booth. But LSRTV, you guys do a great job. And again, thank the guys out there that run in the league. We will get better at this. We'll clean this up a little bit and press forward. Got to thank the sponsor as well, SimRacingPoints.com, and sponsor of the series. Great point system, adding things as always, and Victory Fuel for fueling the victory lane tonight. So other than that, guys, yeah, thanks to everybody that was watching.
I'll tell you what, Brody, thank you for, your take on the matter. Obviously, I know it's not something that we want to discuss, but I think you handled it with class, and we all have a bad night. Everybody has good days or bad days. Hopefully we can take this and move on to Texas.
I'm a driver just like everybody else out there, and I lose my cool at times too. I even lost my cool at times tonight over the chat. So I'm just as susceptible as anybody else out there for making mistakes and doing that. And so it is what it is. You know what? We'll do our best. We'll clean it up. We'll look at it, see if there's anything we can work on. But again, I don't put myself above anybody else out there. We're all racers. We're all racing hard, and some of this is just Martinsville. So we'll tough it out and we'll keep going.
There you go. There's the thoughts of the runner-up for the race and the man behind FTSR all the way, and that's the Fury Motorsports number 23, Brody Hanna. How about our friend of the North from Canada, John Paul Burns, the elevated Esports 99 Toyota. You had your share of some ups and downs, man, but you come back and the Canadian finishes in third. What's your take of tonight?
Yeah, it was one big wreck fest everywhere. Just about surviving and making it through, and just happy that I made up 17 positions from the start of the race. Third place, I'll take it.
Well, man, you did have some problems, but what a way to rally back and like you said, finish in a very solid spot in the top three.
Yeah, it was tough to see TJ get pushed out there. Like, it was just maybe him not knowing how close he was to the inside, and once you get your right side tires on the actual pavement, then it just feels like you can't turn the truck anymore. So it's unfortunate for him, and I'll take the rewards of the reap the rewards. Sorry.
Well, buddy, it's on to the next one, man. Before we let you go, thank your sponsors, and what a comeback for you.
Yeah, thank you. I'd like to thank Elevated for allowing me to be on the team and get some good finishes for them. Martin Sports for allowing us to run the sponsor on the truck. Also, Colton Gum Auto Center, and also definitely to thank Victory Fuel for giving us the privilege of having them on the truck too.
There's the thoughts of J.P. Burns. When it's all said and done, the Canadian will finish in the number 3 spot. And for that'll wrap up tonight's coverage of the FTSR Sim Racing Points Truck Series, full throttle sim racing at Martinsville. When it's all said and done, again, Mr. McKinney getting the big win. Cody McKinney in victory lane at Martinsville. And the series, unofficially, I believe it's correct, will pack her up and get ready for Texas Cup on Monday. Trucks next Wednesday. For Jason Rockefeller, Charles Wooten, Jeff Stabnow, iRacing, LSRTV, and Rocket Racing Media, this is Wesley Outland. Good night from